Hello, people. My name is Lee Cole, and I'm here with my partner, James Proctor. James, how are you doing today?
Hey, doing well, Lee. How are you today?
I'm very well. Hey, James, I'm hearing that Sammy Gravano is kind of being very disloyal to the people that he's bringing on. A matter of fact, we heard some very accurate news from someone that he's currently working with. At this time, we're not going to name that person. What kind of information did you get from this person? And the reason we're not naming this because this person's doing a show on. We're going to give you pretty much the information that we received without saying his name because he asked us not to say his name yet. So, James,
Yeah.
what has he been telling you?
Yeah, so basically what's happening is that agreements have been in place between him and this other person, and Sammy is not abiding by what was agreed upon. And so Sammy is looking in this contract to, to do what he wants and the things that will benefit him, and then not do the things that will benefit the other party.
And to give you an example, so he has a paywall right now, right? And his paywall, he wants to put all his stuff on. So this person that came to him, he basically said to this person, "We'll do the interview, and after the interview, I'll put it out there for you, so you can." And this person's thinking, "Okay, he has a half a million views. This is going to help me great." But the problem is, Sammy's playing it behind his paywall, where he's not doing that well,
Right.
and his numbers are for Sammy are very poor, and
Yeah.
so he is doing, and he will not release or keep his promises to this person and put out
Right.
the interview. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's basically what's happening, and it's also what's happening is that other relationships that he's worked on, he's having issues with those as well.
Let's talk about some of those other issues. Okay, so he has a relationship with Sammy Gravano, but I'm sorry, Sammy Gravano with Michael Francis,
Yep.
but there's stuff going on there too, isn't there?
Yeah, and so they're not getting along as well. They were going to do different things together, and besides, after Mafia States of America, they'd kind of develop a friendship, and that Sammy had almost died, from COVID, and so Michael had become, close to him through mainly through his son Gerard, and anyway, they're not doing any things together, and the main reason for that is that Sammy still thinks that this is the mafia, and he will talk behind Michael's back and tell people that Michael was not a gangster, that he was weak and he wasn't his father, all that type of stuff. And Michael's just tired of hearing Sammy going off like that and acting like he's still the underboss.
And so Michael, even though he's having the bigger show, Sammy's kind of trying to treat him like second fiddle.
Yeah, that's what he does with all these people that, especially these guys that were in that life that, they will always go to him for advice or to go on the show, and he just, it's always one sided. It's always what he wants and what will benefit him, and he's not going to keep his word and help people. And he always holds people hostage. You have to do what he wants. You have to say that he's the don of social media, all that type of stuff, and basically bow down at the throne of Sammy. If you don't do that, then you will not go far.
So an example is somebody wouldn't do it for him. So what he did is he kept the guy's show behind the paywall,
Mm-hmm.
and uh, and this guy spent a lot of money going out to see him out of his
Yeah,
pocket,
sure.
and Sammy's not taking that into consideration.
Right, and there's been multiple cases of that. So I mean, it's just something that Sammy is just not a good person to do business with. The only saving grace now is maybe he won't kill you.
Yeah, he'll get in trouble now if he kills you. Okay, there's no more deals
Yeah.
with the government. Okay, and so
No.
I'll give you these two gentlemen right here. Jimmy Calandra and John Alite had deals with him too, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
And those deals never worked out for them either.
No, with John Alite actually gave him money when he got out of prison. He also, uh, you know, uh, Sammy said he would prop him up, which he did. But John Alite was actually had been around in this YouTube stuff and social media before Sammy, and so Eli is actually one of the ones that really helped Sammy to uh, really build up I guess, a brand or whatever, or an idea to go on social media. And so once Sammy got big, Alite was not in his life, and he wasn't going to help him out. And also, I know Alite wanted him to be involved in some of the programs he's doing with children, and Sammy doesn't want any part of that.
Okay, well, I'm not going to play this right now. I'll take this down. One second. Okay, well, let me take this picture down first. Okay, so, and as with Jimmy Calandra, I don't even know if they're talking anymore. But at one time, they were pretty tight too.
Right. Yeah,
Is
I
that
haven't heard
correct?
too
Yeah.
much of. Yeah, they were tight. I know they went there. They had an interview, and but he hadn't done anything else to really help Jimmy that I can see.
And this thing gets stranger too, because Sammy Gravano did something. And on Angel Gotti's show tonight, she's going to be discussing this more thoroughly. We're going to go over the basics of what he said, or I'll show a
Right.
short that we put up, and then we'll
Yep.
talk about it even more. But this is where I guess Sammy Gravano basically said that he killed somebody. He
Mm-hmm.
didn't tell it to the feds.
No.
And so who's he talking about?
Yeah. So what he's talking about is a guy named nicknamed TG. That's Anthony Graziano. He was the consigliere of the Bonanno family, long time mobster, and Renee Graziano was one of the mob wives. And so anyway, that's where a lot of people might know the name Anthony Graziano. And anyway, apparently they Sammy did a piece of work for because Graziano wasn't quote unquote a tough guy. So Sammy did a hit for Graziano off the record, and that's he didn't tell the feds. So when he admits that on tape, that he didn't tell the feds, that he left that out. And so,
And people, if you
this
think
is
that we're making
over
this up,
20 at
you
least.
know,
Mm-hmm.
this sounds like something that you got to be making up. That someone in his position wouldn't be stupid enough to do this. But we're going to show you. We're going to put this up and show you.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. Let me.
Jordan, I said, how did TJ, when all the guys in the Brown family, the boss, the underboss, all them captains flipped, how does he not get arrested on a murder charge? He said, why would he? I said, somebody had to know he killed somebody, and they all flipped. He said, Sammy, the guy never cracked an egg. What?
He's right.
He says, he never cracked a. That's why they don't know about a murder, because he never did one.
Right.
I did one for him, and it was off the record. And I didn't even tell it though. So
Okay, so there we hear him say that he did one for him and it was off the record, and then he says, "And I didn't tell the feds." Did he really say that?
Exactly. Yes, he did. That's what he said. And just for the folks to understand, there was a pause on there because the person that sent the video, I think they edited out there was something about the profanity filter or something.
Yes.
But anyway, but that is, but yeah, what he said is that he.
Let me finish
that-
playing it, then we'll.
he said he
Yeah.
never cracked an egg, and he walked around like a tough guy all the time.
Right.
Right? He had
Yeah.
that attitude.
From what I heard, yes.
Yeah, he had a terrible attitude, walking around like
Well, he was
Mr.
always
Tough Guy.
partying. He was a partying.
Okay, so here you got this guy, Sammy Gravano. He always likes to insult people by saying that they weren't tough guys. Okay, we got it from pretty good sources that Graziano did have a drug problem. Is that correct?
Yeah, he did. He did have a problem with cocaine, and it was well known throughout those circles, so it wasn't a secret. So that part is true.
Okay, that part's true, but Graziano has passed away a couple years ago.
He did.
And we know right here, forgive me for this picture, Renee, but right here, Okay, in this picture, this is Renee, and people might remember from Mob Wives. So basically, he's coming out and he's saying that uh, that he didn't tell the feds and he did a killing for her father. Is that what he's
Yeah,
saying?
yeah, that's what he's saying. Just crazy to me. I mean,
And
why
people
would you
say,
say
"Oh,"
that?
yeah, and people say to me, that means that he can get in trouble." No, let me tell you why he can't get in trouble. Does anybody think the feds are going to arrest him for a murder that they didn't tell him about? Here's what would happen if they did that. That means that everything that Sammy's ever testified against would probably be thrown out of court.
Yeah, I mean, it would be.
So why would the feds want to be involved with their charges on John Gotti, their charges on whoever Sammy testified against? That would, if he left something out like that, that discredits his testimony.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely does, and the thing is that whenever you have these agreements with the government, the first thing I tell you, you have to tell us every crime that you committed, and if you don't do that, then the agreement can be withdrawn. You remember there was gas pipe was wanted to go into the program, and what happened was is that they were going to do it, and then the government withdrew that offer because they found out he was lying. He made gas pipe was lying about murders that other people committed, etc.
And these are exactly the things that Mikey Scars talks about. When you really
Yeah.
think, people might say, "Oh, Mikey Scars has a hard on for Sammy Gravano." But see, Sammy shows you every day who he is and what he is. Is he still a rat? James, is he still ratting?
Yeah, I mean that's apparently that's what he's doing. To me, that's what he's doing.
And he just literally came out. No one knows whether this is true or not. Sammy might just
Right,
be BSing. But
right.
if this is true, we're talking that he came out and said that he did a hit for Anthony Graziano because Anthony Graziano was soft, basically. Um,
Yeah,
now Anthony Graziano was very big. Joe Messina and him were pretty tight.
yeah.
Uh,
And the thing is, it's just not true that he was. Maybe he was. I don't know if he was soft or not, but we know of a case on one occasion. He had two of his men fire shots, and there was a topless bar where, um, basically, two people fired shots, and he sent his Brooklyn crew looking for him. And also. And these were Columbos, and so he wasn't afraid to put a murder order out there. And so Graziano did bookmaking, extorted people. They had murders on recorded conversations. He
and
did
he
a
was
lot
pretty
more
up
to
in.
say
He
law
was high up
after
in the.
Pagan.
And he was high up in the Bonanno family, right?
Yeah, he's a consigliere, so he's a capo and then a
So
consigliere. He
he's
had a
like
lot of
third in
money.
line. He's third in line of the power of the
Yeah,
Bonanno
pretty
family
much
at that
like
time.
Sammy was with the Sammy Gravano was with the when Gotti was the boss.
And this shows you too, because when you think about it, so he's kind of having some issues too with Karen being around him, isn't he?
Yeah, and that's the problem is that everyone that is around him, he barks at them, and they just Karen loves her dad, but the thing is that she's not going to be down in Arizona with him. She keeps her distance. I mean, but Sammy wants to tell everyone what to do. That's his biggest problem. He expects everyone to listen to him and that he knows everything. And my understanding is his son is getting a little tired of it too. And Sammy's living in a warehouse and where they do the filming, and I'm not
And
sure
Sammy has said
how.
this on this. We're not giving up his location. Sammy
No.
has said this. He said this on
Yeah.
his live. He came out and said, "I live in this warehouse
Yeah.
where they do
Yeah.
everything." Uh,
Sure.
so, so this person that you were talking to that's angry with him right now, this person told you. Did he say that Sammy doesn't have as much money and stuff as people think?
Well, what? Yeah. I mean, basically the that's a lot of it. But I think Sammy does everything through the wife's company. That's where it is. So, he has to depend on his wife to give him money, or ex-wife to give him money, because everything runs through um, through that Deborah Way Productions.
And why is he running through Deborah Way Productions?
Well, because of Son of Sam, he doesn't want to have to give up money to his victims. That's the main reason. And in fact, we know that when he was indicted in 1999 for the ecstasy thing, that the authorities found out that he had actually hid a lot of money, from the feds when he was when he's caught with Gotti. So he had money put away. Maybe he still does, but my understanding is that he doesn't have the money he once did.
So you got Sammy here saying, "Oh, there's a murder that I did not tell the feds," right?
Hmm.
Does that open the doorway? Would you think that say one of these people who had someone put in prison because of Sammy came forward and said, even if the person that he ratted on was dead, they came out and said, look what this guy's doing, because we have had this problem on here with John Panisi and uh, with Gene Barillo, with
Hmm.
Frankie Pasqua when he was with Gene Barillo and on the John and Gene show. So this ain't the first time it's happened with people on here that are saying things that can get cases overturned. Now, I'm not sure what's going to happen with Sammy, but the fact that he said this is unbelievable.
Yeah, I just can't believe he would say that. And it's just Sammy doesn't have any. It seems like he doesn't have awareness of what he's saying. He just will say whatever he's on his mind. I mean, it's weird with the a lot of cringeworthy moments when you listen to his lives, and what's more weird than that to me is how all these people worship him that are in his chat room. It's just crazy to me.
And he brought out that god awful movie,
Yeah.
whatever it is, but that was in the back burner. It was so bad nobody wanted to do anything with it for 2 years.
No, exactly. And then everything that is good in his life, he runs them away. He's difficult on his family, and then you get the guy James Carroll. He pretty much runs him off. He just cannot get along with anyone. The only ones that get along with Sammy is, like we've said before, are the young women that work for him.
And okay, so we know, and we kind of gave Anthony Ruggiano a hard time about going down and selling his soul to Sammy. What would you like to say to Anthony Ruggiano right now, if you can?
Oh gosh, I mean, no, I think what I would say to him is to be careful with your interactions with him. I mean, Anthony, to me, he's liked by most people. There's no need for him to, get in bed with the devil, in my opinion. I mean, it's just what I see is anyone that works with Sammy, it's one sided. They don't benefit the way that Sammy benefits. It's always about Sammy first, and many times Sammy only.
So he's never really had people around a long time. Even when he was on the street, he killed his men around him. He literally murdered them. He took their businesses and stuff. And the only thing is, he can't do that anymore. But he runs these guys off. And some of these guys are solid guys on here. They got solid shows. Um,
Yeah, and that's true. And the reason for it is, there's a jealousy with it. He does not want anyone to get bigger than him. He doesn't want anyone to benefit. It's just he's got a very big ego, and the thing is that uh, he's just he's just a scumbag when it comes to being a business partner with him. It just never works, and the point of this whole video is just to tell people that he hasn't changed. It's the same way it was when he was, in the Gambino family.
Hey, people, can you please hit the reminder bell? Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed to this channel. and hit the like button. We'd really appreciate it. And also, Angel Gotti's My Father's Daughter with Marla Eggert. And Angel and Marla will show their faces once we get to 100 subscribers. We're moving in on that, people. So please subscribe. Go to Patreon, and it'll ask you what show you're looking for. Put in Angel Gotti. There'll be a link underneath this video also. And please join that Patreon page where we put up good stuff. We got stuff going on tonight. 3-4 times a week we put stuff on it. And once we build up to a certain amount of people, we're going to start our lives. And I just wanted to let you know that. So please, once again, please give Angel that chance. And the first week is free. You can go over there and for the first week, watch. And if you don't like it, you can say adios. So you don't really lose anything.
No.
Okay. Okay. So we got that out of the way. So when you're closing this out, we're closing this out. We're not going to make this a long, drawn-out video. We said what we had to say. What do you think in this point? When you see the things are going on, and when you see that he did this thing about the murder, what goes through your mind, James?
Well, it just, to me, he's not as smart as he pretends to be. And what it also tells me is I look at it more big picture. So I went into Social Blade. I wanted to understand how he is growing. How much is he?
James got stuck there. James, are you still there? So I'm going to talk my way out of this.
Yeah.
Okay. James, you froze a little bit, but that's okay because
yeah,
we're almost at the end of the video.
bar.
Yeah. Okay. So,
yeah. No, what I was just saying was that, yeah. No, what I was saying was, Lee, was that when you look at Social Blade, you look at, 2020, 2021, that's when he got up to 500,000. And then after that, it's just been very slow growth. He reached his peak and he doesn't have the impact he used to. And I believe that Mikey Scars is a big reason for that.
oh, without a doubt, Mikey Scars has just been pounding him.
Yes.
No doubt about that. Okay, people, we're going to close this out. I hope you enjoyed this video. Nice little close to a half hour of entertainment. Like it. Please hit the like button. Enjoy this. James, anything that you'd like to say before we head out?
No, I just thought it was really interesting what was given to me, and what we're hearing from some of the people that actually work with Sammy.
And you know something, and people have to understand this. This isn't something that we're making up out of that third or fourth person. This is something we've heard directly from someone dealing with him right now. And there's even talk of litigation. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is. Yep.
And we can't get into that too much either. So you're talking litigation. You're talking all sorts of stuff. And out of respect for that gentleman, we're not going to get into that stuff. We easily can, but we're not going to.
Right.
Okay. Well, James, thank you once again. I hope you people enjoy this. Right underneath here, what you think. Tell us whether you think that Sammy actually committed a murder for Graziano, and whether he kept it from the feds, or do you think he's just BSing? Tell us underneath what you think. James, you take care of yourself.
All right. Take care of yourself. Thanks a lot.
Bye.